Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is David Godwin, and I'm the director of the Southern Fire Exchange with the University of Florida. And from our Southern Fire Exchange team, I'm joined today by Marinelle Armstrong with Tall Timbers Research Station. We're really excited to have everybody on today, and I'm looking forward to the presentations from our three speakers. We have Lindsey Curtin, Sean Flanagan, and Zach Prusak, and collectively they'll be talking about resources to host and participate in online wildland fire training. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Lindsey Curtin is the Fire Program Training Specialist for the U.S. Forest Service Southern Region Fire and Aviation Management. She is remotely located in Roanoke, Virginia. She was previously the fire ecologist on the George Washington and Jefferson National Forests until January of 2020. In her current position, she manages the Wildland Fire Learning Portal, which we'll be hearing about today, and also is the planned section chief for the Southern Area Engine Academy and is the lead coach for S591 Advanced in FDRS. She has a bachelor's degree from Virginia Tech. Our next speaker, Sean Flanagan, is the Regional Fire Training and Workforce Development Program Specialist for the USDA Forest Service Southern Research Station. He's at the regional office in Atlanta, Georgia. Sean is the current Southern Area Fire Training and Workforce Development Program Specialist, and he got his start on engines and hand crews in the Great Basin, and then in the southern area. He was with the Snake River, Asheville, and Cherokee Interagency Hotshot Crews. He was previously in dispatch as the Assistant Center Manager for the Cherokee National Forest and the Center Manager for the Virginia Interagency Coordination Center. Welcome, Sean. Glad to have you. And last but not least, Zach Prusak. Zach is the Wildland Fire Training Specialist with Tall Timbers Research Station. In this role, he works with state, federal, local, and private conservation groups and landowners to create and promote fire training opportunities and facilitate on-the-ground partnerships through collaboratives such as fire councils and prescribed burn associations. Many of you know previously, Zach serves as the Florida Fire Manager for the Nature Conservancy. He has over 34 years experience working with prescribed fire and is qualified as a prescribed burn boss type 2, RXB2, and is a state certified prescribed burn manager in Florida. He has both a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Central Florida. So Zach, Sean, Lindsey, thank you for joining us today. I know we're all excited to see your presentations. I'm excited to learn about the kind of resources that y'all work on day in and day out. So one moment as I stop my share, and Sean is going to start things off.
Good morning to everybody. My name is Sean Flanigan, and as David mentioned, I've got a long title, but really I wear two hats. I'm the Southern Area Geographic Area Training Rep, which basically takes the 13 states out to West Texas and represents all of the partners in NWCG. And so I represent all of those folks. But I also am the Region 8 Forest Service Training Officer, and I'm part of the regional office training team that's out of Atlanta, Georgia, which Lindsey Curtin is a part of. And so I'll introduce myself and give you just a tidbit on some of the tools we utilize to navigate virtual learning, and then Lindsey will take over and kind of go down deeper into the nuts and bolts of it. Next. Excellent. So as everybody knows, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit, everyone was sort of scrambling to find new methods and new ways to continue with training. Certainly a lot of training was canceled across the nation, but we had a great team within the region that made a quick pivot into virtual training. Instead of canceling, we were trying to just scramble and get everything online that we could. And really, we were fortunate in that we had a tool that was already in place. It was something that we knew we needed up to a decade ago, but took a while for us to get in place. And it is the Wildland Fire Learning Portal, and it was developed by the NWCG committee, the National Wildfire Coordinating Group, and it was in place about 12 to 18 months before the pandemic hit. So we were again fortunate for that. But it took, just a minute to get all of us up to speed on how we could really utilize this tool to its full potential. It's based on the Totara Learn, which is a Moodle extension. Those of you that are into computers and programming, it uses that Moodle extension and really is a user-friendly, learnable system behind the scenes. But for the most part, we have the front end of it here that's it's very easy to use for folks getting into courses, signing up for courses, and even creating courses. The audience for this Wildland Fire Learning Portal, of course, it's all NWCG land management agencies, federal, state, local government, and of course NGOs. And we've had a lot of lessons learned with it, but we know now that it's suitable for self-study. We've got quite a few courses on there that are self-study. Suitable for blended, which is combination of in-person and self-study, or virtual symmetrical learning and in-person courses. And more importantly, if you're part of one of these agencies, it is free to use. Next, please. Excellent. So I discussed the challenges that we faced with the pandemic and how that sort of forced us to learn some of the lessons that were there in front of us, but we just didn't have, we hadn't delved deep enough. But we made that quick pivot. All the regional level courses in the southern area transitioned to virtual delivery, including what we call M581, which is program management for our fire. It's a joint course with fire management officers and line officers or rangers, and it's an opportunity for them to get into a course together and understand how they can work towards getting their prescribed fire programs and their plans for wildland fire safety up to speed before the events actually occur. And so that course was put on jointly with what we call the Southwest region, and because of it being virtual, we were able to put 96 students through, and we had quite a large cadre. And so that's one of the benefits that we have found from virtual learning, is the fact that the boundaries tend to go away. You basically are hindered only by the amount of breakout rooms and the number of instructors you have. So we're finding that we're able to become more cost effective with the training, get a larger number of folks through there, and that's been a real benefit for us. After that M581 program management course, we did go into the Arkansas River Valley Wildland Fire Academy and the Tennessee Kentucky Wildland Fire Academy. Those are academies that put a lot of courses on, have a large cadre, a lot of students. We had 1,200 plus students representing all the 13 southeastern states, including Puerto Rico and all of our partnering agencies. So all those folks got through those courses at those academies, and it was all done virtually. So, and again, we put on the Tennessee Kentucky one first, gathered some great lessons on how to not only use the portal and to use Zoom and all these other platforms, but more importantly, how to teach, the methods for teaching in that environment and still making it effective. We also, going back to the self-study aspect of this, created an RT 130, which is our wildland fire safety annual training. We put that on, and I think this will be our second year. I think this year we've got about 1,000 folks that have gone through that self-paced training. And of course that we opened that up to other geographic areas in the nation. And that's why we have those numbers. I think it's been very popular, and we're open to upgrading it. And so we make sure that folks give us feedback on that. And we're constantly editing, adding, and upgrading to make that more effective for the prescribed fire managers and the fire management officers on the ground. So that's been a big success. One of the other things we have done is we went through the blended RT 300, which is the requirement for the Forest Service for all of their prescribed fire managers that they need to have every few years. And we did part of that as self-study. And then we had a couple Zoom meets where we had some prescribed fire professionals hop on and give us their expertise. So that was successful as well. And then the state burn managers courses were done on the learning portal as well, and were a big success. We're upwards of 50, 60 plus courses right now, and several thousand students from our region alone. And we just feel like this is the tool that will move us into the future. I'll close before I hand it over to Lindsey. I'll just say that I was just on a meeting with the folks that run the Arkansas Academy, and they're in May about to put on their second iteration since I've been in place. And we were very supportive of them moving back into in-person completely. We were seeing a light at the end of the tunnel in May for that, hopefully, if conditions keep improving. And I was pleasantly surprised to find that the cadre came back and said that they would love to do the in-person courses that they felt would be most effective in person, but that almost half of them they felt like virtual would be the way to go. So people are really embracing the fact that we can take these lessons learned, be very effective, and continue our training. And really, it's a great tool. Next. All right, so I will pass this over to Lindsey as she kind of delves down into the nuts and bolts of the learning portal. Appreciate your time, and we'll be monitoring the chat for questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Sean, and thank you so much for having us today. I could talk about this portal all day long, so I'm going to try and stay within our allotted time today, but I'm sure you'll have lots of questions, and we will try to get to as many of them as possible. So I'm going to start out by just giving an overview of the portal. We're going to show you a little bit about how it looks like and how you can find classes and then set up your own kind of courses. So to get started, the governing board that NWCG put together to come up with this portal designated some roles and responsibilities, mostly to keep the portal from becoming a wild, wild west situation full of chaos. And so there's 4 different tiers of roles that people can have that are delegated by that committee. So first and foremost is the course creator. And for the Southern area, Sean, myself, and Billy Prophet are technically the only course creators that we have. So we're the only ones that can create a course for you to make your own. And all that is just us being the gatekeepers to provide some of that quality control and ensure things are looking the way that they're supposed to in the portal. From there, we have the editor trainer, and that's where all the magic happens. So if you're an editor trainer, you have the full creative control over the course that I've made for you, and you can go in and set up however you like. One thing to note with this editor trainer is that it does require an NWCG hosted workshop where you learn all the ins and outs of creating a course. Those are put on really frequently, every couple months or so. And Sean usually knows when they're going to be held. I don't know when the next one is coming up, but we can certainly look that up. Or if you give us your email, we can send it to you when that time comes. So from there, you can then assign trainers and learners to your course. So the trainer is an instructor that you don't need in their editing because maybe they're going to accidentally delete everything, which is, it's happened to me before. So something you don't want to have happen. And that trainer then can grade student assignments, they can check progress, they can see things that might be hidden for the students. And they're obviously just there as an instructor role. And then finally, most people are enrolled into courses as a learner. So they're seeing what you want them to see, when you want them to see it, and then they're interacting in the course and taking those classes. So Sean hit on this a little bit about the different kinds of courses that you can put on the portal. I'm not going to harp on this too much, but just so you know, we have the self-enrolled courses. There's really only a few of them that are out there. One of them is that refresher course he was talking about, and I will show you that in a little bit. We also have some of the basic firefighter type 2 classes. So S110, S130, L180, S190. Those, like I said, are basic firefighter classes for us. And then the bread and butter of the portal is mostly blended courses. So these are ones where we're meeting like we are now on Zoom or Teams, or maybe you're even in a brick and mortar environment, and then you are just using the portal to help you with delivering your course. With the blended classes, we have two options from there. There's some pre-built courses that NWCG has made. Honestly, there's some varying quality to those, but those are basically copy paste, and then they have instructions for how to teach that class. But if you're not feeling that, or you have a totally different class, maybe even something that's not an NWCG, we can create something from scratch and you can build it out from there. So lots of options, and it makes it a really nice tool to be able to use when you're teaching. So let's say we did create you your own course. Well, what kind of stuff can I do with that? There's a zillion options, and I'm just going to touch on a few of them to give you the layout of how versatile this program is that we can use. So first and foremost, I like to tell people the portal is basically your class binder. It's housing all of your course materials so you are free to teach. You can include interactive videos and lessons, which are super handy if you want somebody to watch a YouTube video and you're not quite sure if they're really going to do it. So we can import that into the portal, and then you can add quiz questions to it. They can't fast forward. It's a pretty handy one. We use that a lot. You can also include some discussion boards and forums, tests, quizzes, and your course evaluations, which we can export into Excel. And another really handy feature is the ability to grade assignments. So let's say you want your students to turn in a burn plan that you want to give them credit on, or you want to evaluate. So instead of you trying to rifle through 100 emails from your students, it's all in the portal. You can grade it in there, you can give feedback, and it's awesome. Like I said before, you can set restrictions. So they're seeing things when you want them to see it. You might not want them to see a test until Friday. Well, don't worry, they won't see it until you're ready. And then finally, we can create NWCG certificates or even other custom certificates, so you can award that to students at the end of your class. All right, I am going to very quickly show you the portal, and this is just one of the classes to give you a feel of what it looks like in here. So you'll see I am in our annual refresher course. This happens to be a self-study, so anybody that has a portal account can enroll in this class themselves. And you'll see here, I have the editing button. That's because I'm in an editor trainer role. So if I clicked here, I can see the progress of all the students in my class. And if I was a learner, this progress bar would tell me whether or not I have missed some required element. One of the things that we've learned as we've been doing this for almost 2 years now is that little tutorial videos that show you the layout of the course are super helpful. So before I even let anybody do anything in the class, they have to watch me blab at them for about 5 minutes to give them the lay of the land. And one of the nice things about these layouts is that it keeps everything in a really nice package. So here, this is all the meat of this particular course, and I can open them up. So they have lots of resources, which are PDF, URL links. You can even include pictures or videos. And then we get into the required elements of this class. So you'll see those interactive videos where we make them watch it, and they have to watch the whole thing to get credit. And then we have some of the supplemental materials that go along with that. So they work their way through this class. And at the end, they can roast us with a course evaluation, which we keep anonymous. We've gotten some good feedback from that. And if they have completed all of these required elements, then this certificate becomes highlighted and they can get in there and then download their certificate, which is really helpful and handy. So that's just one course. Like I said, we have over 60 that we've made, and that's just to give you a little taste. So I'm going to transition now to one of our bigger questions is how the heck do I find training at anywhere across the country? Back in the day, we used to have a national website where you could find any class that was being offered across the country. And that website was turned off. I'm not quite sure when it was, but it's not there anymore. So now people are scrambling, trying to find when courses are and when they're being offered. And one of the big downfalls, I will admit, with the portal is that we don't have that really nice searchable handy calendar. And there's a couple of different ways I will quickly show you to get around that. But just so you know, it's even difficult for us sometimes to find classes. So one option you'll see is this Find Learning button, where you can look up upcoming courses. And honestly, I don't really recommend this because it will show you classes that you are not allowed to enroll in. So just because a class is in the portal doesn't mean the nominations are open for it. And that causes all kinds of confusion. So the best way to get around that is to come over to this geographic areas link. We'll see each geographic area. In this case, I'm going to go to the southern area. And you can see the course schedule here. So we try really hard to at least ensure that the 300, 400, 500 level and above classes are all located. And these are truly upcoming courses where you can click on something and fill out the nomination form for it. So most of the different geographic areas have this, and nominations can be due at totally different times. So you just need to be careful and actually check if the noms are open or not. So that's, like I said, not super handy. And what if you just needed a SAW class, S212? Where the heck do I find that? So as a mitigation to what we know is a big black hole, we have created in the southern area a brand new website. We just launched it a couple weeks ago called the Southern Area Wildland Fire Interagency Training page. And it's still in the works, so you might notice there's some glitches and we need to add some more things here. But what we wanted this to do is, one, highlight all of the different regional academies and training centers that we have. In particular, most of our states host these wildland fire academies, which host 10 to 15 different courses at one time. That's how probably most people are getting their training in the South. And you can click on these, you can go to their websites or get dates for planned academies nomination forms. And then the big thing, the best function that we have so far is a searchable calendar that people can actually add training events to find some classes that you need. So very quickly, I'm going to go in here to March. And you'll see that we have an S273 single engine air tanker manager course in North Carolina. So if you click on this, you're going to get a little window that pops up and it has all of the information. You can click on here to go to the nomination form and it's all simple right there. And hopefully the states and the local area training specialists will be adding some of their more local training that's open outside of just their agency. So that's our hope. And right now, like I said, we're still building this website, and there is definitely not a ton of things on here now, but we're adding to that. That Arkansas Academy that Sean was mentioning will be on here. And then there's all kinds of classes that you can sign up for there. And before I leave you guys today, I'm sure you're wondering, well, okay, I see how I can get classes now, even though it's still a little confusing, but what if I want you to create a class for me? Where do I go about doing that? The easiest way would probably be to email Sean or myself, and we will work with you to get your class sorted, make sure everything is good to go. That's basically what we're here for, is to make sure that you are having success putting on a class. But you can also go back into the Wildland Fire Learning Portal, go to the course coordinator information tab, and I've made a Google request form. So those are there for you to use. And thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to your questions later.
All right, Sean and Lindsey, thank you so much for your presentations. And next up, we have Zach Prusak.
All righty. Thank you, David. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, sounds good. Go ahead.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. And again, thanks for having me here. Lindsey and Sean are amazing and are incredible resources. So I highly recommend reaching out to them for any question you have. So my presentation, I'm going to go a little bit over this new world of hybrid fire courses, and then what Tall Timbers will have in place, sort of a fire learning shop. If you have a better name, let me know. But our setup is not quite functioning yet. We're in the process of acquiring the learning management system, and so bear with me on that. But yeah, my name is Zach. Work for Tall Timbers. My primary job is I coordinate training, try to fill training gaps for the Northeast region, based on a grant from the Northeast Compact and Mid-Atlantic Compact. So it's been great for me, a long time Southern fire person, learning all the new folks in the Northeast. So training and challenge, this is something that has been, to echo a lot of what Sean said, we really hit a bottleneck with COVID. And even before that, there was a need for increased fire training and mentoring in the coming decades, both from a controlled burning and firefighting standpoint. There have been 2 recent surveys in the Northeast and Southeast put on by the Regional Cohesive Strategy Committees of the Cohesive Wildland Fire Management Strategy and the Southeast Regional Partnership for Planning and Sustainability. And a lot of people responded to these training surveys in both regions. And what I find incredibly fascinating and it illustrates the overall demand is that there were some commonalities in this training survey. Folks had difficulty finding out about training. So exactly what Lindsey showed you, there really isn't a place that you can go, that long gone nationwide fire calendar. It'd be great to have that again. And it's ironic, we're in this world of more information, and still it's difficult finding out about training, both NWCG and non-NWCG courses like certified prescribed burn manager courses. There's not enough sessions or bad timing, when sometimes a training is put on, we're out burning. And maybe I can't take a week to do this training because within that week, I've got to go burn. The coordination is challenging across all boundaries. Part of what I'm doing in the Northeast is based on a lot of what I've done in the Southeast, which, as you all know, sometimes just takes a person to call. Someone that, oh yeah, so-and-so is putting on this training, or, hey, I can get, so-and-so to help out. And it's challenging to do that. And courses are not equally accessible to all. And so what if I'm a private landowner? What if I work for the county or city or an NGO that wants to take a course that might be higher level, but I haven't had good luck finding it, but I still want to know the information. So that's a challenge. There is an interest in diversifying the training formats. So what Sean had mentioned as blended, you'll hear as hybrid, and also updating fire material. The stuff that we've sort of utilized over many years, which is getting really kind of old and stale. There's a lot of other ways to teach and to show concepts. There is a lack of virtual components that would help reduce travel and course delivery costs, but here's the key, still maintain the quality. So everything in green there is actually, it can be solved or mitigated through this online fire training world. So you're going to hear some terms and they'll be thrown at you a lot. So you'll hear LMS a lot, Learning Management System. So it is a software application that contains a wide variety of tools. Lindsey showed you all of those things within the portal that allow an instructor to deliver all of this stuff to the student. And so it's administration, documentation, tracking, delivery, and this LMS, Learning Management System, Moodle, which is in the portal, Canvas, which a lot of universities use, Blackboard, lots of them. These support asynchronous and synchronous learning. So what does that mean? Asynchronous, on-demand, self-paced learning, videos, documents, quizzes, and discussion boards. And synchronous, where students are engaging and learning simultaneously, but that could be online and in person, in Zoom. So synchronous encompasses a lot. And then those words, virtual and online, they can be used interchangeably when referring to this training that occurs. And then hybrid, hybrid training, hybrid course, you have some of it within an LMS, some of it within this online world, and then a portion of it is in the field, in the class. It's been, to echo again what Sean had said, this format has gained a lot of popularity for lots of reasons. For me personally, I was doing a lot of training in person before COVID shut us down, and I wasn't even aware of the benefits of going online. I really wasn't, until our partners at the University of Florida Natural Areas Training Academy, they were partnering with us for the in-person training. They said, you know, you can do this online. And I was like, that's news to me. And so working with them, learning all of this, we were able to successfully convert the material that was 130, 190, LN80, 131 to this new world of online hybrid learning. And it was a huge success. We, in one course in one basic wildland firefighter course, we had 60 students, which represented 33 agencies and private landowners from 54 different locations, and then everywhere from New Hampshire to Florida. And we worked with our on-site partners, so the Nature Conservancy and the Florida Park Service, to provide the S-130 field day. And the students reported back to us in the post-course surveys that they were better prepared for that field day by going through basically 3 weeks of taking the online material on their own and with other students. There's of course challenges for online world. You have to have some sort of computer connection. Is your agency compatible with Zoom or Teams? Many instructors are not comfortable with this new world of online learning. A lot of instructors I would trust with my life in the field, but I would never let them near a computer. But the advantages, the benefits are just enormous, where you can reduce cost, you can increase access to more students. You can also increase the DEIJ components of all of these courses, where pieces of individual courses can be taken apart like Legos and put back together with someone that may be running a narration of a video, someone instructing you. So the benefits far outweigh the actual challenges. And then this is Heather Heward. I really, those of you who don't know her, she's an amazing educator and has taught me a lot about what is pedagogy, this methodology of teaching to promote learning, which refines and improves how students learn. Most of us are subject matter experts in the field of fire, but not necessarily trained instructors. So this hybrid platform has given us all the chance to improve this training so that we can meet the demands of this increased fire workforce. So we're not just delivering quote unquote training, we're delivering better ways to learn. And so like this is the slide you're looking at now is from this 12 levers of transfer effectiveness. And people really go deep into how you get information to students, go beyond training. So it's one of the benefits of working with universities. So Tall Timbers, our fire learning shop, it's going to look essentially very similar to what Lindsey just showed you, because it's the same LMS, it's Moodle. So all of the courses that will be created within this will look similar, have similar structure and formation. And basically, this is going to be another tool to help host online fire courses, not in competition with the portal, but as another option. I view this within Tall Timbers, our audience will be, yes, we can work on NWCG courses, but it's all fire practitioners, all countries. We want to work with a wide variety of fire practitioners, from private to public. And right now, since it's just me, I basically would be the gatekeeper of this and helping folks create courses. And so we don't have the incredible output and volume that Lindsey just mentioned. But for right now, when this goes live, and we anticipate it to go live within a month or so, we're going to start with the courses we already have in hand, and then reach out to people and see what they actually need. So what I think this other tool, this other online course hosting tool within Tall Timbers can really do, we really want to focus on this idea of a master burner course, working with the fire councils, and you see the updated fire council map on the bottom. There is a need for a huge swath of private landowners that are doing what they need to do within their own state to be certified prescriber and manager, but there's more information that they want. I hosted an RX 410 smoke class a couple of years ago at TNC, and we had private landowners who wanted to attend. They said, this is what I want to know more. And so Laurel and Jen Fawcett and a few other of us have been kicking around this idea of maybe extension working and creating this master burner course that could be hosted through universities, which then goes back to a learning management system, which then Tall Timbers would have. So I envision this one being a part of that. I want to work more with the prescribed burn associations and hosting some of their material online for their learn and burn workshops, which means you have more time to absorb information, and then your actual learn and burn in the field could be much more effective and longer. You'd have more time to actually burn. Also trying to tie in these field sites that augment any online material is key, fire councils, and also creating courses that demonstrate how the next generation fire modeling programs work, train people in that. More certified prescriber and manager trainings could be delivered through this as well. We have had a stall in Florida for our own trainings because it was all focused in person, but that could also be a way that this fire learning shop could function. And partnering with universities, again, I did not know what I didn't know until I was hit over the head with what is possible and utilizing their evolving learning methods. So partnering the best in subject matter experts with the best in how people learn will really allow us to deliver training that we'll have more of it, so that addresses, not enough sessions. We'll have more access to it. And at the end of it, I think, we're all looking at all this money coming down from the federal government. But at the end of it, if there's a larger fire workforce, we'll be able to meet that need through these online platforms. And here's my crazy fantasy. And Lindsey, I know you've heard me say this too. Yes, there's not a great way to get people notified about trainings, but what do we all have with us at every single day and night is our phones. And I've priced this out. So if anyone has a spare $300,000 laying around, an actual app that blends the best in a map app, and this sounds goofy, a dating app, and actually some sort of job app like Glassdoor or LinkedIn that will target you when you request a specific course, and you'll get a notification. Or maybe you've got your training, you want to go and burn with someone. All right, well, swipe left, swipe right. Who needs help on a fire? What do they require? I've got that. Putting people in touch, I think, goes beyond websites and MailChimp lists. And those of you on this webinar probably received some of my emails, so sorry about that. We're all overwhelmed by that. And I think that that's got to be the future of some sort of fire training notification app. So again, anyone has any money or funding, let me know. But that's all I have, David. So I'll end it with, I'll throw this back to you, the audience, is what courses or training would you like to see in this format? Would you like us at Tall Timbers to help you create as we build this alternative online training tool? And thank you.
All right, well, Zach, thank you. Enjoyed the presentation, and thanks again, Sean and Lindsey. If y'all joined our webinar a little bit later, my name is David Godwin. I'm the director with the Southern Fire Exchange and the University of Florida, and we have Sean Flanagan and Lindsey Curtin, and they are both from the U.S. Forest Service, and Zach Prusak, who is with Tall Timbers Research Station. And we're talking about the tools that their shops have been working on developing and implementing to put fire training programs and resources either online or in hybrid options. So if you have questions, please go ahead and type them into the Q&A tool in Zoom, and we'll try and get to them. I know this is a topic that, as we've all been dealing with the pandemic the past couple of years, and how they mentioned that things, training had to evolve overnight, and so these are some of the kinds of tools and resources that I think may be our new reality as we move forward, and that we're not necessarily going back to the way things were 2 years ago. We're going to, I think, a new future of delivery. And on the other side of all this past 2 years, I think we have come up with new tools, and these are some of the folks that have been working and thinking really hard about how to put these new tools into practice moving forward. So it's pretty cool stuff. We had some questions that came in, and it looks like Lindsey and Sean have answered these, but I want to make sure I'm going to let you guys talk about them. And for anybody who didn't see them in the Q&A, we'll get to it. So we had Nicholas who asked, would folks from Canada or other countries be able to use either of these systems, the portal or Zach, the tool that you guys are developing through Tall Timbers? Are folks from outside of the US are going to be able to use this?
So for us, yes. Tall Timbers, yes. And a lot of that has come from the folks that come to the Prescribed Fire Training Center trainings. Many of them also are looking for training before they get there. So, yep.
And for the learning portal, there is a discussion, a very heated discussion going on right now with the folks in the Gator world on who can and cannot use the learning portal. We know that contractors cannot right now. We're trying to put some steps in place to mitigate that when we need to, because we want this to be something that helps everybody. But we have to be careful of the money or ducat side of it. As far as Canada, as soon as you asked that question, I pinged my Alaska and Eastern area counterparts, and I got a question mark back. So they don't know the answer. I'm going to find out the answer. And in the meantime, the easiest way is to try to use your professional email and sign up for the portal. And if you get through, then we know the answer for that. But honestly, I don't know quite now. So when I do get that answer for you, I will not only respond to you, but Dave, I'll send it out to you so you can spread the word. In case hopefully it's a yes, and if it's not, we will look into making it a yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to follow up on that with both of y'all a little bit. This was thinking about folks who are outside of the US. If we have folks in the US who are not necessarily agency affiliated, if we have people who are students or with cooperative extension or private landowners, what of the resources that y'all have presented, either the portal or Zach, the Tall Timbers system, are those going to be training resources for these folks that are not necessarily wearing a badge on their sleeve?
They certainly can be. The way that the learning portal is set up, if you go to make an account, they basically tell you right off the bat, you should be using some sort of official email. And what happens is that if you have a certain like for us at USDA.gov, that's an automatic approval. If I'm trying to use my personal Gmail account, then I call them the gurus, but they will then start vetting you. So they want to know, why do you need this account? Who are you affiliated with? And usually if we know we have a class, like let's say, excuse me, we have a class of college students that are taking something, and we can give them, hey, just a heads up, you're going to get about 30 new applications today from the Southern area and for this class. So if we know ahead of time, and we can give those gurus a good, excuse me, I got a frog in my throat, a good justification, then it's usually fine. But They have started to crack down a little bit. I guess it's because of that contractor thing going on where they really want to know why somebody is coming into a class. But as far as Sean and I are concerned, we want you in. So we'll do what we can do to get you the class that you need.
Yeah, and likewise. I mean, that's kind of what one of our goals was as well, to address sort of the other group that may not have it as easy, but still, to Lindsey's point, if they're vetted, why are you taking this and what's the purpose? The end goal is we want more fire on the ground. And so, if this course is preventing you from that, let's find a way to unlock that for you. And if it's, a course, maybe you don't necessarily need that course, but something else. So for us, it's like, eventually we'll get to this idea when I have a lot, like 2 or 3 more staff that will have customized material for folks. It's at the end of the day, removing the roadblocks. If you want to do fire, we want to help you do it.
And I saw Fred Turk from the Virginia Department of Forestry is on. He's hosted several virtual state burn boss courses or burn manager courses, and those are mostly private landowner kind of folks, and they were able to use the portal no problem. So it can be done. We just need to make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's.
Yeah, and
So
David,
go ahead.
I'll add something real quick. One of my ideas for our site is I'd like to explore the notion of having some of this material in different languages and presented by different people from different countries. We've worked, when I was with TNC, we worked with folks from Portugal and Spain and some other, also some Pacific islands as well, and the Bahamas, and they are interested in these courses, but it would be great to help them create this course. So if you're in another country, that's fine. There's so many tools to allow you to record yourself, or with everyone's phone is an amazing recording device. As long as someone is putting them together and still meeting the objectives, I would see a future where these could be done in a variety of languages. And I understand that, of course, any kind of links will be able to translate and you can see it, but to have it delivered by folks from a region with their own perspective and their own diversity, I think would be really cool. Something I would like to pursue.
So for the courses, I'm thinking towards the portal on this one. For the courses that are NWCG courses, it looked like you complete it and you have the opportunity to receive your certificate at the end. Are the certificates that come from those courses, are they carrying the same weight as an in-person course? Are they just as accepted?
Yep. They sure are. They sometimes, so to get them in there, I've made like a whole 20-minute video about how to make these, but they are going to include a real signature, and it's a legit certificate at the end of the day. The one thing though, hopefully this technology comes at some point, but the portal does not speak to our qualification databases. So that certificate for us does not go to IQCS, if you know what that is, or ICS. So you still have to manually enter so-and-so did complete this course on this date. It doesn't talk yet.
Okay, so then that leads into my next question. So folks who are, like you mentioned, Fred from Virginia, it sounded like they had courses that they wanted to put into the portal that were not NWCG courses. It was something specific to their region. So if we have folks who are listening today and they want to create a fire training course for folks in their region or their state agency, and it's very specific to their area, do they reach out to you guys? What's their next step?
Yes, so they can reach out direct to us, myself, Lindsey, or Billy Prophet, the 3 folks that are the course creators. We can have that discussion on, whether there doesn't already exist something that they can, work with. And if not, and the need is there and the desire through them, we can create a shell and then make sure that they get into the editing trainer workshops. And Dave, I just emailed you the links to the next editing trainer workshops that are coming up in March. There are several sessions. They fill up quick. So if folks are interested, I would get in there very soon, if you don't mind sharing that. And yeah, I think that's the way to get it done. Get with us, email us. We'll have a meeting, figure out the need, and if we move forward with it, we'll create the shell, get you guys into the editing trainer courses so that you have the tools that you need to move further down the line.
Mhm. And to add to that, we can technically create a course for anybody, but let's say you're in Oregon and Region 6, you should probably go through that gator before coming to us. Not that we don't mind, but they might have some different SOPs or standard operating procedures that they'd rather you go through than just coming to us first. So each geographic area does have their own course creators, usually that falls under the Sean of that area. So, and if you don't know who that is, then we can also help you out with that. But like I said, if you need a class, we'll make you a class.
You said Gator. Could you expand on that acronym?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean, go for it.
Yeah, I've got a long title, but basically it's the geographic area training rep. And so when I had mentioned I wear two hats, I work for the Forest Service. I am the training officer for the Forest Service personnel within the Southeast or Region 8. But I'm also the Gator, and that geographic area training rep basically you work for the training working team in the regional office in Atlanta. And all that to say, I work for all of the agencies, all the land management partners on trying to get us on a schedule of training that helps all of the agencies and doesn't favor one. And like Lindsey said, we get our hands slapped sometimes because we try to help everybody, and that's okay. We just, we'll, wherever you're from, we'll help you, or we'll get you to the folks that can help you. So don't be afraid to email anytime. Email anytime. And call me up to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And Lindsey, you'll take a phone call anytime, right?
All right, and I guess the last question I had, and I see there was a question in the Q&A, the very specific, and if you guys can address that one, or have some guidance. For folks who are interested in developing a course through the portal or through the system that Zach and y'all and Tall Timbers are putting together, do they need to come with funding to do so, or are there opportunities for those who may not have a dedicated funding stream to put that together?
Ideally, this system will, because there's a set amount that you pay to lease an LMS every year. So my goal is to have it as reasonable or free as possible. Again, if we can, to Sean, to what John Lindsey says, I want to say yes to everyone. What do you need? And I don't want money to be the issue. But it's a reality, of course. Someone's got to pay for it. So, for example, there are courses I know that we will run through that system that will wind up paying for the system. But what we will have is a pretty decent amount of student numbers that we can hold and host every year. So I want it to be, free. If they come to us with money, create this, then yes, we'll definitely help. But yeah, I don't want money to be what's in the way.
Yeah, I would agree. Most things, unless we're buying something that we need for your class, but it's just our time and we are already getting paid for that. So we are here to help you guys as much as possible. This last year, we bought some video camera equipment that we're trying to learn how to use. So we're at some point in the future, maybe we'll have some cool videos that are kind of cool that are badly edited. So we do have some of that technology. If that's, you're trying to do some interviews that you want to incorporate, we can do that. So unless we're having to buy something very specific, it might just be paying, you pay your own travel to go to some field site or something. But otherwise, the costs are minimal, I would say.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, well said by both of you. And I'll just close that out by saying the amount of money we have saved going to this virtual world is in my mind, almost made it a non-issue. It's just made everything so much more efficient working with different partners. We'll always try to get you the hard yes as opposed to the easy no. So yeah.
Agreed.
Well, with that, looks like we are up to the end of our time today. Lindsey, Sean, or Zach, do y'all have any final comments or remarks that you'd like to share with everybody?
I would just like to say thank you guys so much for your time. And once again, we are here for you. So please come to us if you need help. And we want to make sure that you are getting and giving the training to the highest degree of quality that you can. So thank you so much.
Yes, what she said. And if anyone is out there that's interested in helping teach, you think you're going to retire, we'd love to have you instruct and let us know who the next generation of instructors are. Because by the way, we need to be replaced one day. So, but yeah, and thank you for everything that y'all do out there.
Thanks,
All right,
everyone.
well, go ahead, Sean. Sorry about that.
Nope, just saying thanks for your time and appreciate it.
Or you have additional questions, we have their email addresses on the screen, and feel free to reach out if there's anything that you have questions about from the Southern Fire Exchange. Reach out, let me know, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. So Lindsey, Sean, and Zach, thank you all so much for joining us today. Enjoyed your presentations. The future of training is really exciting. There are a lot more opportunities ahead than we have had in the past, and it's opening up more opportunities to more people representing different backgrounds and organizations and everything like that. And so the future of training is bright, and thanks to you guys for making that happen. Thanks everybody for joining us today, and we hope that this webinar will be useful in your fire management programs. Have a good afternoon.